Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is just under 2 minutes until this fantastic live stream is going to be in your eyes and in your ears. And I promise you, because all the content we do is really good, that it is going to be absolutely worth the wait. We are just now checking our microphone levels, making sure the internet's okay and it's not going to go kapoom on us at any point. We've got the new compressors for the audio, so we're not spiking and not hurting your ears. In the meantime, you can of course check out this incredible piece of Redmen TV merch that we designed. I think you'll agree it's absolutely brilliant. Obviously I recorded this ages ago, so it could be literally anything, but I'm sure it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, don't forget as well, we've got our own streaming platform, that is Redmen Plus. Redmen Plus is the home of Redmen TV and has absolutely everything we do there, from in-depth documentary series to more relaxed podcast stuff like we do on the main channel on YouTube. So yeah, it's not going to be long now. It's around about 50 seconds. At this point, peek behind the curtain, what is normally happening is we're all panicking. I normally need a piss, to be quite honest with you at this point, and then have to run off. And Tom's normally sat in the room going, what's he doing? I've got no idea. Where's he gone? And it's always for a wee, because I've got a really small bladder and I can only last about 40 minutes normally, which is hell when you go and watch a Liverpool game, because they're 45 minutes off, especially when you've had a pint. But it is what it is, and we live where we live, and we've got to deal with what we've got to deal with. And I promise you that this content is coming up in less than 11 seconds time. And yeah, it's 9, it's 8, it's 7, it's 6, it's 5, it's 4, it's 3, it's 2, it's 1. It's your content.
Hey, what's happening? It is 7 o'clock. It is Thursday. It's time for Thursday Night Pint. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be a wild one tonight. We've got some brilliant guests. We've got some brilliant topics. And I've got a bevy as well, so anything could happen. In part one, we're going to be looking back a little bit on Brentford. We're going to talk about James Milner's decision to leave Liverpool at the end of the season as well. In part two, we're going to be ranking the iconic Liverpool goal celebrations. And in part three, we're going to be looking ahead to Liverpool versus Leicester on Monday night as well. Go! And before then, it is time to look back on the week in Liverpool. First and foremost, and most importantly, Liverpool continued their unbeaten run. They extended it with a 1-0 win over Brentford, a game which also saw Mohamed Salah score his 100th Anfield goal. The match was probably slightly more notable for the boos and chants of Liverpool over the song that was designed to commemorate someone's granddad getting a new hat, which drove people to froth at the mouth, all those who have British and English flags in their bios on social media. On the subject of boos, Liverpool and Brentford actually broke a brand new record in the Premier League for the ball being the least amount of time in active play. If someone needed to be booed whilst wearing a new hat, quite clearly that person is Anthony Taylor. We move on. Liverpool launched a brand new kit for the 23-24 season with some genuinely sensational imagery. Apparently it's modelled after the 1973-74 kit. The team with Bill Shankly led to the FA Cup in his final season as Liverpool manager, which shocked most people under the age of 40 who thought it was a kit that harked back to the great days of Titi Kamara, Eric Meyer and Sean Dundee in 1998 to 2000, which does prompt the big question, when will these legends of the game get their statues at Anfield? Where's my Eric Meyer statue? Where is it? Hashtag Eric Meyer statue in the comments, please. That'd be great. Liverpool legend Sammy Lee has been denied employment, with Sam Allardyce back in action in the Premier League in charge of Leeds United. His often partner in crime in football, Crimes Against Football maybe, Sammy Lee has been denied the chance to join him because he's currently on active jury duty. There's no gag to that. That's literally just a thing. Poor old Samuel. Jörg Schmadtke is a name we're all going to have to learn how to pronounce and, in my world, probably spell. He looks set to join Liverpool as director of football, the outspoken German. Apparently, he hasn't bonded over with Jurgen Klopp over a love of football. They've bonded over a love of German band Die Toten Hosen. I posed the question of, will we be bringing heavy metal transfers to combine with Jurgen Klopp's brand of heavy metal football on the pitch? And if you want to know more about Jurgen and his love for Die Toten Hosen, check out our German Scousers documentary on Redmen Plus. Yeah, it's a thing. And finally, for this week, Fabrizio Romano has reported that Liverpool are the front runners for Sporting's Ugarte, a player that the vast majority of Liverpool fans online have been crossing their fingers and toes over the last couple of weeks. Let's see, let's hope, and let's keep those fingers and toes very tightly crossed to see if he does make his way to Anfield in the summer. Anyway, that was the week in Liverpool just gone. Let's look back on the football and beyond. I'm going to introduce my guests for tonight. First and foremost, it is the wonderful, it is the amazing, it is Chloe Bloxham! Chloe. It is your least favourite part of the entire job, and bearing in mind you went to like 9 consecutive away defeats.
I know, yeah. This is the one that's nearly put me over the edge and quitting, I think, really. Just that one little bit. The rest is fine. I can deal with
You've coped spectacularly. A person who lives for the walk-on, who breathes for the walk-on, who is Mr. Walk-on himself, it is Mr. Chris Pajak. What was that? It was very direct.
Walking. I don't know. I wanted to do a cartwheel, but I failed at them recently, so I decided against it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Anyone who was at our live event, we were told you'd be a night that would never be forgotten unless you were Chris Pajak. Chris did a cartwheel on a oversized Liverpool-themed playing card.
Yeah.
And
apparently stacked it.
And completely
went flying.
And utterly stacked it. Great time was had by all. Right, okay, brilliant. These are the regular guys. Steve's got the night off. I don't know what he's doing. What's he doing?
A family thing?
Yeah, probably. Or wanking.
Pulling the head off it.
Oh,
yeah,
dear
so.
Christ.
Right.
Lads, it's only like 4 minutes in, please.
Joining us on the show tonight, making their Redmen debuts, we've got a pair of UK battle rappers. We're going to start by introducing BloodStro!
It's the same as mine, mate.
Direct and to the point.
Yeah, I thought I was going to trip over, that's why.
That's a big thing. When you have your entrances, what music do you normally have?
You can either, so a lot of them make their own music and they come out to their own music, or we'll pick like vintage WWE ones. Nice. So we normally decide before, but there has been times when no one's given us music and we've just stitched them up. Done like It Wasn't Me by Ali G or something like that. Like we've done loads of mad stuff, so whatever.
God save the Queen.
Never.
I wouldn't even, in all the back and forth of battle rap, you would never stitch someone up so badly as to play the national anthem. Brilliant. Right, okay, our final guest for this evening's show is the UK battle rap champion. The belt is sensational. Let's bring in Bizzo Bond!
Go on, Biz!
Camera, please, everything.
Look at that belt.
Oh my God. The belt is unreal. Absolutely.
It's so heavy. So it's Premier Battles for a start, isn't it? We've got to say the league.
Premier Battles.
Shout out, Prem.
The biggest and the best in Europe, soon to be the world.
Like it.
That weighs a ton, by the way.
It is very heavy.
Sick. I've often thought about that because, you know, like in wrestling, the belt gets used as a weapon so many times, and you're like, yeah. I'm sorry, but if you hit someone in the head with that, they are not
Dead.
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 Look at that. There it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
That is
quality.
incredible. Absolutely incredible. There you go, brilliant. The first person to bring a belt on.
Excuse me?
Prada or something, knowing you.
You got a belt on, Chris?
Yeah. Absolutely.
No.
It's a free one, came with the jeans.
I came with that.
It's a piece of string. Right, sound brilliant. Let's crack on then. We're going to be talking a little bit back to Brentford first and foremost. And Bizzo, the game of the weekend, look, not a stellar, outstanding game of football, but I actually thought compared to the Fulham game before it, compared to how more challenging the Forest game ended up, it was nice just to be the better team and win a game of footy that way.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. We wasted a lot of chances in that game as well, like clear-cut chances. I think Gakpo should have buried 2, really, but it's one of those wins, isn't it, that you're just happy to get over the line and take a 1-0. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
Like anything less than a win against Brentford at home is disastrous, especially with what we're trying to do for the remainder of the season.
Well, I think that's the point, is it shows that we're in that run now where we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It was like, there's nine games, go and put down 9 wins, and it sounded stupid at the time. Let's be perfectly honest. I don't think many people thought it was going to happen, but we're in it now, and it now feels like they've gotten over the big hurdles. Those teams in themselves didn't stand out. Oh, Brentford shouldn't be a huge hurdle, but actually, given where we've been through, it was important to get that run down. And as we're saying there, it's nice just to feel confident that Liverpool can walk into any game now and get a win.
Yeah, I think we needed it more than anything because it's come at a perfect time. It's like, obviously, I know we're going to talk top 4. Have we left it a little too late? Possibly, but going into next season, it's vital we go in with some form of momentum. But not just that, we can carry that momentum on into the transfer window and into pre-season. But we needed these one results, and yes, it was a scrappy win, but it just reminded me of the Sheffield United game when we won the league. That it just felt like we were just banging at the door, nothing was happening, and then we finally get the goal and we start to be a lot more comfortable. But yeah, we needed that win massively.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it, Chris? That's exactly the point. You know, we talked about Liverpool needing to get back to winning in loads of different ways. We've seen all season long we can snot teams, and Man United are still reeling from it. We need to prove that you can dig deep and you can have some come behind wins and all those kind of things.
And for once, we kept the back door shut in that, like, they didn't really have any chances either, did they? You know, we knew what we were going to do. They were going to bombard us from set pieces and throw-ins and all that type of stuff. They had nothing there, so that was Brentford's game plan going into the game. Liverpool stood up to that, showed themselves to a man, won their individual battles. If you win your individual battles, you tend to win the game. That's what Liverpool did.
How are you feeling, Carl?
Decent, yeah. Excited for the remainder of the season. You know, I'm a little bit annoyed that the Reds don't get to play first this weekend. That's the main factor that's really doing my head in, is that both
Leicester
Manchester...
only play on Mondays, though, clone out.
I know, that's very true. The fact that Manchester United and you know, Newcastle, Brighton, they all get to play before us and we can't apply the pressure, does my head in. But you've got to be there in case they do slip up, and that's Liverpool's job. Yeah,
I mean, the beauty was, it was just to stick to those teams then, Club. It was a perfect... I saw a lot of, like, if Carlsberg did weekends kind of lines for the weekend, like you couldn't have chosen it. The Everton one was the biggest one, because we were sat here doing the podcast on Monday afternoon. I think both you and Chris were going, yeah, but Brighton, and then Ev turn up from out of nowhere and deliver an absolute beating to them. That was just... It goes to show, doesn't it? That's the nature of the Premier League. It's mad, it's unpredictable. No one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I told Dan that I fancied Everton for that game. I don't know why. I felt like I had. Brighton, a couple of weeks before that, had a little bit of a stumble because they'd gone, 120 minutes with Manchester United in a semi-final and lost on penalties. The heartbreak of that, you could understand a little bit why they were a bit tired, and mentally why they might have needed a week to recover from that. But for whatever reason, I don't know why it was, but I thought Everton might have a chance. And look, did I want the Ev to win? No, I didn't. But it was a win-win situation for me, because either the Ev dropped points or Brighton dropped points, and we needed I want both of them to drop points. So yeah, it was a win-win situation. I didn't expect 5-0. I expected maybe a 2-1 or 1-0, yeah. But they completely and utterly, Brighton made them look like the best counter-attacking team in the Premier League, and it's from a team that had scored 25 goals in however many games, and they went and scored 5. It was a little bit ridiculous.
It was. It kind of reminded me, Chris, because I know I've not been totally on the Everton relegation train as much as others. I know you've not been hugely on it, but it did kind of remind me of watching that. I was like, I don't really give a shit whether Everton get relegated or not. Ultimately, I care far more about results that affect Liverpool.
Top 4 is more important to me than you know Everton getting relegated, unfortunately. And that's just the way that it is. I think what Liverpool want to achieve over the next sort of 2 years or whatever, getting back to winning titles and trophies and stuff like that, we need Champions League money for all of that type of stuff. So, look, don't get me wrong, I'd have laughed if Everton go down. Like, you know what I mean? I'll be laughing. I'll be pissing myself if they manage to somehow do this. But the 5 goals thing's weird. Like, how the fuck have they done that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Brighton were awful.
Yeah, they made Dwight McNeil look like prime Bale. That's what that's what bothers me the most. I was watching it, I was like, what is going on here? Like, Dwight McNeil, he's bang average.
But he's dribbling around the keeper.
He did that little Ross Barkley celebration when he turned the keeper as well, didn't he?
It's mad, mate. Like, and there's just no rhyme or reason for it, because if they've had that in the locker all season, where's it been?
Yeah.
That must do your head in as a fan.
The difference was with Brighton, where you say top 4 was more important. Of course it is, but Brighton faced Newcastle, Arsenal, and Manchester City in that. So I just thought, well, Arsenal need to try and stay in the title race, so they should win there. Manchester City, unless they want Liverpool to not get top 4, they're going to have to try and win the league there. So if there was any game where Brighton could have won and I'd have been fairly okay with it would have been against Everton.
The mad thing is, it might work in our favour now, because Brighton needs to really work hard to get back into the Champions League spots.
Newcastle,
so they might actually do something against the likes of Newcastle or something.
Yeah.
So well done, Everton. Thank you very much. Imagine if Everton got us Champions League.
And then went down.
If Carlsberg did seasons.
No, yeah. Well, that's the thing, but I've never paid more attention to more fixtures at any one time. I've spent the last 5 years looking at nothing but what Man City are doing.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden you're like, well, Brighton are playing Everton on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Go on.
3 o'clock
Yeah, it's
in the afternoon. I was like, what day is it? It's Monday. Why are they doing this? Because it's a bank holiday for everyone else. It's just a normal day for us.
It's like Leeds against Newcastle coming up, isn't it? It's like that. I'm watching that game intensely, and I would never watch that game intensely in any other season.
Liverpool, Newcastle, go ahead.
Yeah.
No.
I'm actually rooting for Big Sam against Newcastle.
Yeah, we need
massively.
It's one of them you're going to be like, always like Big Sam. Always
Yeah,
thought he was a good
great manager.
Look, David Moyes was a football genius last week, so Big Sam can be on the level of Klopp and Arteta, and also Pep Guardiola. Like,
He thinks he
he
is.
likes to believe if he takes something off
Did
Newcastle.
Fulham play anyone important as well before they? But I feel like they do. I think Fulham have got a hand to say in this, because
He
imagine
played Man United last day of the season.
like they
Yeah,
had the
it's
strong
United.
Everton connection along the way. Imagine 3 former Everton managers delivering points in the favour of Liverpool by beating our rival.
Harry Wilson, the winner.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Would love it.
All the Everton managers prefer Liverpool to Everton anyway. Not least because they've been at Everton and realised what a shit show it is.
They've all got like, all those red baubles stuck in the loft that they were able to get out at Christmas, and they're like, absolute gang of pricks. I'm putting proper decorations out now. Like, yeah. Imagine that though, yeah. Just turn around to you. My missus loves the Christmas tree decoration. She decorates the tree, and imagine turning around and going, I've got this new job, right? And you can't have red on the Christmas tree. What the fuck are you talking about, you lunatic? No, I know. I've got no idea why they're like this.
Do you know what would be funny if it was the other way around? Almost the Liverpool fans were like them, and none of us would wear blue jeans, so we all got red jeans. And it was like this mad thing. Like, what the fuck? It's a colour. It's a colour, lads. It doesn't matter.
It's a primary colour.
They do the Santa Dash every year in Liverpool. People don't know this.
Yeah,
They do
they
a Santa Dash for charity, and the Evertonians wear blue Santa outfits.
Do you remember Blue Nose Day in the late 90s, where instead of Red Nose Day,
It's fucking lunacy.
Ferguson, the managers, they're all there pointing at their blue noses and stuff like that.
It's lunacy, mate.
Blue Nose Day.
Yeah.
I
They
got
wouldn't take
told
part in
that, and
Red
I
Nose
thought that
Day.
was a joke. I genuinely
No.
didn't think that was true.
You got your laptop on? Type in Blue Nose Day, right, and get up some of the pictures of their ex-players, and
my
they even put one
days.
on the Dixie Dean statue for it.
When was this?
In like the 90s, I think, something like that, maybe. Or saying that, they might have brought it back in like the mid-noughties as well. Right, can we show them?
Yeah, can we get it off? Oh, look at that. There's Duncan Ferguson. We've strapped onto Dixie Dean's face. There's Bobby Martinez. Is that Liz McLaren?
Yes.
What is that?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Standard.
Is that Stephen Naismith?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stephen Naismith.
I don't even think the Everton fans knew that, Chloe. Well
I'm
done.
a little scared that I'm going to end up with some people that want to broadcast here, but yeah, he's Stephen Naismith doing some juggling with blue noses. There you go.
They are an embarrassment, honestly.
I hope they go down now.
Fuck top four, everyone.
Yeah, sad. Oh my good lord. Right, sad. We're actually going to comment before we crack on from Ben Jones. Cult Hero member on YouTube says, oi, Paul, the resurgence is on, and with a big summer coming up, if Inter miss top four and lose Champions League, LFC will get Barella. Also, Ugarte wants LFC, steal 52 million, and Mac is through the door. We'll be back top four. Wow, maybe Ben could actually hit some battle wrapping up with those incredible rhyming skills. I'm not so sure. Yeah, I mean, sounds like you've got it all planned out. I'm happy for all of that. That'll be fine. Right. Let's move things on. Let's talk about James Milner. So it looks like he's going to leave Liverpool at the end of the season. We've been talking about it in Redmen for years now. Like, what'll happen? You know, we'd all have loved to see him stay on as a coach. Mm-hmm. But it looks like he's just being offered playing time, and I guess he's got the all-time Premier League appearance record. It's possible.
Yeah,
it's tough, but it's possible. And I do wonder if there's maybe a little bit of that says go and get your game time and then consider coaching down the line.
Has he already got that, or is it still Gareth Barry?
No, it's Gareth Barry now.
Third, I think, at the moment.
It's about 60, 70, I think, offer.
Right.
But is it gigs he overtakes maybe if he plays another season, something like that? And he's at 704 maybe.
Cool.
I mean, I don't care where he goes, as long as he
604?
takes over gigs.
Yeah, I think it's 604 maybe, actually, I'm not sure.
Yeah, why don't we keep saying numbers?
605.
How many do we think it is?
Blue nose.
I think it's like 750.
Nope, you're miles off.
No, so Gareth Barry's like
Barry's like-
6'4", isn't he?
Ooh, Gareth Barry is 6'5", Ryan Giggs is 6'3", and Jimmy Milner is 6'16" and counting, which is a huge number for fans of the Marvel comic universe. But
Jesus.
he's Giggs is definitely doable. I think if he stayed at Liverpool, he'd probably catch
would, yeah.
Giggs.
I mean, he's going Brighton, innit? So I'm gutted in the sense because he's the ultimate pro, and like we all watch the pre-season videos, and he absolutely smashes everyone in terms of fitness. But not just that, he's a natural leader, and he's got so much experience because he's done everything and he's been everywhere. You've got the Villa, the City, Leeds, like Newcastle, like he's been in every area of the table imaginable. So for young pros coming through, you look at him and you go, that's who I want to be like in terms of the way you look after yourself off the pitch, the way you are as a pro. Like, you don't see any headlines about him. So Brighton are getting a steal there, and I am gutted to see him go because I think he'd have been a perfect fit for the academy somewhere, and I'd like to see that. But if he's going after the appearance record, like, I can't blame him. There is a bit of me that would like to see him go to Leeds, but there's a chance Leeds are going down, so Brighton makes sense.
When you consider how good Brighton have been, that looks a boss move. There was talk of it was between Burnley and Brighton, and I mean, Brighton go and have a good time. But Adam Lallana's telling them that it's boss.
He's probably in his ear, and he's saying,
definitely
come over to here. I don't blame him, mate. I think he can still do a job. I just don't think he can do it consistently to the level that we require him to do it, and that's what the issue is. I think, like Stro said, he can run for days. Like I watch that every season when he does that drill, the endurance test, and he takes over everyone. I think it was him and Lallana before Lallana left, wasn't it? He's streets ahead in terms of cardiovascular fitness. It's mental, but yeah, he'll be a big loss to the team.
He's a big personality as well. You just look at him like.
I think he'd be a good coach or a good manager as well. I think he's got that ability to be able to do that as well.
I can't remember what game it was, but it was a game where he's basically, they're in the warm-up and he's like, the highest of intensity, we lose it, we win it back straight away. Like, you can't replace that kind of mentality in a player.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, we've discussed him before, haven't we, Chris, of you don't want players like him standing in the way of young lads' progression, but ultimately the young lads have got to be better than him. Yeah. He sets the bar, and one thing we will lose is, as mentioned there from the lads, it's not even like what he brings on the pitch in terms of technical ability and flexibility, which are really high level still, but it's it is that thing. He goes on, never say die attitude is how he conducts himself off the pitch. He is a true leader in that dressing room. And actually you need, like, Trent needs to step up and do that, and Virgil needs to be more vocal, and whoever else is in like that, the leadership group, who isn't named Jordan Henderson, basically needs to step up and fill that noise that Milner's leaving.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, Trent, I think while he's played in the midfield, it looks like he's a bit more of a leader. I've talked about it on here before, haven't I? But you're absolutely spot on, Paul. Like, the others need to step up. It's their time now. You know, you've worked under him, you've seen how he approaches day to day at the football field or football pitch or whatever, and now it's their turn. But I think the Milner thing for me is interesting. What's most interesting is I actually think if the 5 subs thing never came in, I don't think we'd have got to this position where he is leaving, because I think he gets more opportunities when it was 3 subs. Because he's versatile and because you only had 7 on the bench, you'd actually find him coming on, but you've got more specialists on the bench now.
Yeah,
so, you know, like left back, you'll just bring in Tsimikas, whereas we never actually used to put Tsimikas on the bench. We put Milner on the bench to cover the left back, cover the midfield slot, cover this and that. And the stuff with Adam Lallana, I think the lads are right there. Is like he's trod that path, so he also knows that the club believe in the older generation and they're okay playing them, and Lallana's still a big part of it. And so he's looking at that going, well, they did that for him. They'll do it for me as well, and I get to go and be part of a great side. Might get European football as well, and I get to do it again, and I get to live somewhere different. I've got a mate down there and whatnot. I'm surprised he hasn't gone to Burnley, to be honest. I thought the company thing would have been quite a pull for him. Obviously, he was his captain, wasn't he, at Manchester City? But you can understand why he's going to Brighton. Like, and he'll probably, like, he's one of those fellas who he celebrates if he scores against us, you know. I reckon, I reckon he just loves the club he's at.
And everyone will respect him for it. No one will kick off. They'll be like, yeah, go ahead, mate. Fair.
Yeah, fair play. Because I want that anyway. Yeah. Like, none of them really love Liverpool. Like, there's a few standouts, you know what I mean? But generally speaking, I think it's a bit like, it's like, just fucking celebrate you scored, lad.
Yeah, like I get it. I was watching the Liverpool 5-2 Roma highlights back today for just to make myself feel happy. But the like Mo Salah scores 2 and obviously it's immediately like this. And now I get that because you don't want to get just don't want to get brutal. Yeah, you don't want to get stabbed to death by Roma fans. That's fine. Don't piss off. Never piss off the Roma fans. But you're right. The situation like Suarez. It was the worst thing he could have done was celebrate against us for Barcelona ultimately because it fired us up when he came back to Anfield. And it really annoyed me at the time, but in hindsight, yeah, there is something to someone just over.
Especially when, like, you've let me go because I'm not going to get the game time there, and if I score against you, then you're getting it. Like.
And plus, it's Milner. Like, if Milner scored against us and he celebrated, I wouldn't care. Owen, there'd be problems.
Yeah. To the point, if James Milner's scoring against us next season, we've probably got bigger problems.
And it'll be a penalty as well. It's not like
it's
going to be a screamer or anything. Well, I say that I've probably wished it upon us now that he's going to catch some half volley from 40 yards out.
Overhead kick in the box.
Yeah, Jesus. He's the good thing about I think the Brighton decision makes sense, Claude, because it gets underrated because we do get a bit down on players when we've had them for a while, and if they're not superstars, and even then we seemingly these days get a bit bored of our stars. He's a winner and he's won everything. To actually plug him into that Brighton side, they're sorely lacking that. To the point, like Adam Lallana's a leader. People forget that sometimes, what a big inspiration he was on the pitch, how he conducted himself and off it. Milner's a level above that as well. You know, just being able to have him round, that actually might be the kind of thing that Brighton are totally missing from that squad.
Yeah, especially in the first team, you know, they've got a lot of youngsters coming in, but what we don't see behind the curtain is how much he does for the academy lads. How many times has he shown up on an academy game at Kirkby?
Remember that Shrewsbury game in the FA Cup, and he turned up to watch that, and he was talking to all the players.
Exactly, when he was given the week off as well. Yeah. And that'd be massive for Brighton because we already know how good they are at finding superstars at young ages and bringing them up. And some of the players, you know, they'll use Brighton as a stepping stone. But if you know, they win maybe a Europa League or something, and they've got James Milner there who's helping coaching the players through, giving them... And the most I'm going to miss him is in those FA Cup, Carabao Cup early games, where he's the one that keeps everyone on the right track. If anyone needs help, he can help them out. He puts one on people in, you know, if anyone was to have a go at Bajcetic, he'd go and put someone on him. Yeah. Because he wouldn't have it. I love him and he'll be a massive miss. And I know you said that, you know, if he scored and celebrated, you wouldn't mind it, but I would. This is a guy. This is a
because
guy
Chloe
that-
is like the one person that comes of the entire Roma fan base.
Yes,
You
of
would
course.
take it to heart personally.
I would.
Yeah.
No, I feel like he's a Liverpool legend, and I don't think legends should do that against clubs. We weren't a club that made him, but Manchester City boo him. He won everything with Manchester City, and they absolutely despise him. And you know,
They are
He'll be
the
remembered as a
weirdos.
Liverpool player, I think.
exactly, and
Yeah,
I
no,
can
definitely
understand
will.
why he like did that kind of celebration. I think we'd lost the League Cup final to them. The next week we played them, might have scored a pen, and he kind of celebrated, but he kept it muted. Against us, I think it'd hurt because I see him as an actual Liverpool legend. He'd never be booed. His name, you know, he'd get a massive round of applause if he was to come on, or if he was listed on the team sheet and George announced it at Anfield before the game. With the likes of Manchester City and that, it's different because they don't respect their players, even though they're
I've got a
legends.
question for you, Chloe. Who retires first, James Milner or George Sefton?
It's a really good question.
What are we, 50 years now for George, I think?
What's the
As
milestones?
the stadium announcer. So that I think it's 50 years. This season's his 50th year, or next season.
Millie's going to outlast. He's going to outlast George. I think maybe that's his next role as well.
Stadium
Yeah,
announcer.
potentially. Yeah.
Possesses the gravitas.
That's a tough question, that.
Millie's at 37 now,
Yeah,
is he?
37.
I reckon he'll play till he's 40.
Yeah, so do I. I think he would.
40. He'll get the record then, if he does. It must be written into his Brighton contract that if you're winning it with 1 minute to go, you have to bring me on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be written into his contract.
Well, that's what I mean. There's 3 games left. You know, he only has to literally walk on the pitch for us in those 3 games, and he's on 619. That's another great reference.
Stadium.
But that's how you inch closer to it. I'd love to see him do that because I'd like to see Liverpool be obviously a huge part of that, because you're right. For as much as he was a Leeds kid and he was a Newcastle player and Villa and City, by the time that's all done, he will be thought of far more as a Liverpool player than any other, which is almost like a sense of ownership of us having us. Almost we've got that record, I think.
Better when a player like Milner gets a record like that as opposed to Gareth Barry, who played for like Villa and West Brom, and it wasn't like upper echelon of the Premier League.
Well, he did the City, he did the little spell at City,
a little
didn't
bit
he?
of City,
but to the point, you're right. People are really disrespectful about Gareth Barry. People don't remember him anywhere near as well as they probably should do. But again, it's because he's no James Milner. Did he play left back for an entire season for a laugh? No.
Champions
exactly.
League
Yeah.
assist record.
Yeah, one single season assist record for the Champions League. Don't think so. More assists than Neymar got that season. Yeah, James Milner, love him, absolutely love him, and we'll do more on him a little bit closer to the end of the season and beyond as well, because absolutely brilliant. I think everyone totally wishes him all the best. Right, we are gonna take a break. When we return, we're gonna be ranking the iconic Liverpool goal celebrations. Stay tuned.
Hey, what's happening? We have got our huge, our mega, our extravagant end of season party coming up and available for ticket sale right now. Do you like what we do on the podcast, on the shows, on the match days, on the watch-alongs? Then come and see us live and in the flesh with live music by the full band of the Ragamuffins as well. Yes, the Reds have been in a tricky season, shall we say, the very least. But you know what? Let's see the season out in style with a Redmen TV party for the ages. We're going to be at Hotel Anfield on the 19th of May. That is the Friday night. Get your babysitters booked and come and party with us to drown the season's sorrows or celebrate a successful end. Whichever way it goes, we will be there with you. Let's have a laugh. Tickets on sale right now. The link will be in the description. I hope to see you there.
Hey, welcome. It is Thursday night pint. We are going to be ranking the all-time / Premier League era, because I couldn't think beyond that. Iconic Liverpool goal celebrations.
Wait there, so you don't have a Lionel Messi shirt holder?
No. I mean, like, I was
in the
thinking like
front.
Ian Rush going, you know what I mean? Or
Classic.
yeah.
You said Premier League, and I was like, oh, have you just chose random players in the Premier League?
No. I meant,
understand.
not all-time Liverpool. As we've done with all of these rankings, anyone over the age of like 50 is probably outraged that there's some that we've totally missed off the list, but life's a shithouse. Right, let's pick it. The ranking game works as follows. Guys, if you care to demonstrate the board for the audience.
This is the board.
5 spaces. There can only be one ultimately at number 1. we're going to send, I think there's 10.
Yeah,
we've got 10 to pick from, and we're going to talk it out. The methodology for the last few of these has been start everything at one and then push it down. I thought that was pretty reasonable approach to it. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
See?
Okay, first and foremost, it's quite a modern one, but it's a very good one. It is the Mohamed Salah peace pose versus Chelsea at Anfield. And I will give you some consideration points just so you can think of how you're going to rank these.
Put it at one.
Talk about size of the occasion, opponent, comedy value can be in there as well. So Mohamed Salah, Chris, scores an absolute screamer against Chelsea. We mentioned him before, it's his former team. There've been a lot of like I don't know if it's even say borderline racist, just very racist sort of connotations been spread by Chelsea fans in certain songs leading up to this, and that's his response.
I didn't know what it meant until you said it then. Literally, never knew it was a peace sign. Fair play. It adds a bit more context to it now.
Yeah.
It's a belter of a celebration. Don't really remember it.
I remember Salah. That's the only part I remember from that, really.
He scored a bunch of absolute screamers, but that is unlike any other goal. Like
Yeah, they were all his screamers are
talking about
curls
this.
into the far corner, aren't they? Whereas this was just like a pile driver right in the same corner, but he just struck it completely differently. Took me by surprise anyway. But we were struggling to make a breakthrough in that game, if I remember rightly, like really struggling to get anything through, and then he pulled that out of the bag. So it had massive significance at the time because we were chasing the title at the time, weren't we? It was within reach. So
there was a bit in that as well where it was because we were banging on the door and it was just like, this is never going to happen because it's Chelsea, and it frustrated me. And I was behind the goal when it happened, but it was when that went in, the belief around the stadium. Because then you remember Mane scored 2 or 3 minutes later, and it's like, yeah, this is done now. But it just gave everyone that lift and that belief, like, no, we can go and win the league. It was a massive goal. That
it was just the anger.
I only mentioned that about 4 or 5 times.
Shut up, you.
It goes in one game a season.
Such a dick.
The anger was literally struck that. Unreal. Right, okay. This is, by the way, we asked our Club Legend subscribers in the Discord in the week to suggest these, and this was one that a couple of people mentioned this one. I was going to just put Daniel Sturridge's celebration in general, but it was mentioned the Alberto Moreno and Daniel Sturridge doing the dance in unison together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moreno
Crystal
looked
Palace away.
Moreno looked like an octopus trying to put a deck chair up.
No, you can't put it in one.
What do you mean? You told me to put everything in one and move it all the way down.
No, there can be only one in one. So is
brought
it
the rules already.
better than that?
Well, no, it's not, but I wouldn't put Salah in one either, okay?
Below.
What score was the game? Did we draw that game?
Yeah, I feel like we did.
It's not important what the score was. The most important thing.
Like on the image we've got here, like he thinks he's got wings, and I've met Alberto Moreno, right? And I think he might think he's got wings. He is a pretty stupid fella, to be honest with you. We famously did a video, and Jose Enrique was there, and Alberto Moreno, and someone else. And Jose Enrique was sort of translating for him, but he was speaking Spanish to him and couldn't understand him in Spanish. Like Moreno couldn't understand Enrique in his own language. And it was just like, it was one of those horrendous days where nothing went right and it was all Alberto Moreno's fault, which is kind of what his career at Liverpool was like, to be honest with you.
His best moment was them beating Man United in the for Villarreal in the Europa League final. And shouting "Get out, Man United" into his phone was certainly up there. I love that though. I mean, we talk a lot about Bobby Firmino, Mane copying celebrations. That was like the thing. That was the precursor to it all. Alberto Moreno doing a terrible version of the Daniel Sturridge dance. Chris, can I ask you, because you put that down in 5?
Yeah.
If it was just Sturridge's dance.
Alberto Moreno ruins it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely butchered it. Like my gran could probably do it better. It was horrendous.
That's sad. Right, okay.
So going back in 5.
Yeah,
I've got a big one for you. Well,
the players got to count, and Moreno's in the celebration.
okay, next.
Go on.
Luis Suarez, Merseyside derby. diving in front of David Moyes. Oh,
Move Salah down one.
Yeah,
Move
that's got
Salah
to go
down
top
one.
for now.
I don't know whether he's staying there though.
it doesn't need to. Don't worry about that
the
now, Chloe.
comedy
Don't
of
get
it
ahead of
is
yourself.
brilliant.
He's having his moment.
It's the best one on the board so far, right?
By
Correct.
a country mile.
Yeah.
Imagine you get called a diver all the time, and in a Merseyside derby, you go down and do that in front of
And
him.
Moyes had literally called him out in like
Yeah.
the press conference before the game, which is part and parcel. If you talk about like your pin it on the dressing room wall kind of
Did he
moment.
run like half the
He
length of the
bit. He
pitch?
bit.
Yeah, he did.
He bit as well.
He
Moyes.
sprinted down
Moyes
that touchline.
ran right up to him when it happened as well. He bit.
But
He
if you
hated that.
watch it back, Moyes tries to act like he doesn't see it, and the second he lands, he goes sprinting for him. It's like,
But to be fair, proper technique involved. Like, he could have hurt himself. I don't think I seem to remember, like, he didn't put his arm out. Or
Yeah, he
anything.
committed
He
to
wrapped
it.
his arm
Yeah,
around.
he
around
He committed to the
right.
dive.
Yeah.
Solid
That is
8.4.
military grade shithousery.
Yeah, I like it.
Keep
So
it
it's
there.
number one for now.
It's
Yeah.
definitely, it might not move.
It's up there.
It
With
moves.
I don't know what else is on
I
there.
think I'm right in saying this is the game where he gets like a quid thrown at him as well, and he puts it into his sock, and then from the corner gets a shot off with that foot and nearly scores with the sock that's got the coin and that's been thrown at him in, and that's like Luis Suarez in microcosm of his entire career. Just
He
unbelievable.
probably kept it for his trolley pound as well, didn't he?
Painted it blue. Yeah, definitely. Right, okay. We're getting into true iconic territory here. No, you know what? I'm gonna hold this one back.
Was that what I
I'm
probably
gonna
think's
hold this
number
one back. I'm gonna go next with Robbie Fowler. First of two Fowler celebrations on here.
Sniffing the line by any chance.
It is the Dockers support T-shirt.
CK.
Yeah. Scored a goal. Liverpool Dockers were on strike at the time. And he wore a T-shirt in support of them. Lifted the top up. Absolutely amazing moment in the history almost of the city as well.
That was after his second goal, wasn't it?
yeah, it's his second.
Who's on it?
Do you reckon he forgot to do it after his first one?
He probably did.
Yeah. Was it? Or
His first one was a penalty.
it's massive confidence thinking he's going to bag another one. It's one of the two, isn't it?
Yeah, because the first one's a penalty,
Yeah.
and then the second one is an unbelievable finish.
He was in front of the cop though, wasn't it? That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
what he was,
that's probably why.
what he was planning.
Did you watch this today?
I mean,
I remember
I
it.
mean, that needs to be higher.
Behind the goal.
I
What
wasn't behind
needs
the
to be
goal.
higher?
Stroll was. He was 4.5.
Fowler.
Yeah, I think Fowler needs to be higher.
That was his. That
Just
was his
because of
only
what he
game.
meant for the city.
Higher than Sal?
I agree. I think. I don't know what else is on this list, but for the solidarity,
Yeah.
I would have him up there right
Same.
now, to be honest with you, because young Scouse lad in the side supporting the city that he's from
Yeah.
meant more to me than that celebration did, which is just laughing at Everton. It's pretty high because of it, but
Yeah, I'd move Suarez and Fingy down.
Wow. I love it. It's one of my favourite Fowler moments. But there you go. Wow, straight to the top of the list. Brilliant stuff. Okay, next. Okay.
and those black CK shirts as well, by the way, not at the same time, like obviously going around the market, like there's
Yeah.
loads of them. Then everyone in Liverpool had one of them.
Yeah. Bobby Firmino, Paris Saint-Germain, comes back from injury, scores the winning goal in the 91st minute, covers his sore eye. History's made.
Stroll was behind the goal.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. No, we were talking about this on the way up. We couldn't remember if he got injured in the game or if it was injured in training. Then we found out it was for Tongan.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's come back. It was a good moment. It was a big moment in terms of the group, but
That was a massive win. That was a massive win against PSG.
First group game of 2018-19 at Anfield. We go 2-0 up.
Yeah.
Paris get it back to 2-2, and then Bobby Firmino comes on in like the 70-odd minute, and then scores the winner in the 91st minute and then does a celebration about the eye
He's just
injury that he
weird,
suffered
isn't he?
at Spurs.
He's just
An
weird.
angry
that's why.
pirate.
He's
Yeah.
just boss. What? I don't know. Is it the angle? It looks like he's got a plus for a right foot here. What's going on? What is it? Can you see?
It's the line where people have to stand behind for the corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It does very much look like he's got a plus. Can you see?
It does, yeah. So he's got a cursor. Yeah, I don't think. I think it's an iconic Bobby celebration,
Yeah, it's just Bobby being Bobby, innit?
but I don't know. What do we think? Is it
I don't
above
think
any of the ones on the board?
I'd put
Look,
it.
I mean, it's definitely above the Moreno
It's
one.
above Moreno because that one's just.
Where would you say?
I'd say
I'd
4.
put him 4, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put it above Salah.
Above Salah's
Salah.
Chelsea salary.
We didn't end up winning the league. We ended up winning the Champions League. We'd lost.
Actually, that's a
We
good
went
point.
on, we
Valid
went on to
point.
lose against Paris Saint-Germain in the group stage.
It's already changed.
in their back garden. So I think that was actually a really big moment. You've obviously Alisson Becker also saving us against Napoli. So actually that was massive that we got 3 points there, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. That.
Yeah, that's a great point. We'll keep that for now. Okay. Alisson Becker.
Oh.
Knee slide.
That goal.
Manchester United, having just got the assist for Mohamed Salah. The crowd are singing, we're going to win the league. Salah's got his top off. And then all of a sudden, the goalie is the first person there to celebrate, slides into shot on his knees, gives him a big cuddle. Liverpool going to win the league. Where's it go?
Top for now, surely.
Long slide that as well, wasn't it?
Really?
Just no, because like although we
No,
knew we
number
were
2
going to
for
win the
me.
league, that was the game where it was like, no, this is done now.
I'm not going to lie. Like, this doesn't help because
And it was
we
United.
won the league, but it was in COVID. For me, it was absolute crap. Like, I don't remember it as fondly anymore because
I remember
we
it
never got
more
to
fondly
celebrate.
than the last time I watched Liverpool win the league prior to that,
Well, yeah. There you go.
because I was 6.
That's boss, and Joe's right. That was the game. We'd all been saying it silently or
Yeah, we
privately behind cameras for us. Everybody at home in the pubs or whatever, all been talking. We're going to win the league. We're going to win the league. No one's been committing it to Twitter or anything. And that was like this collective. Now's the time, lads, around the carpet. It was just like we're going to win the league, and that was it. And that's when everyone just knew. So for me, that's a massive moment. But like, he didn't score.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
I question whether he should be on the list, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I liked his I liked his goal against West Brom. I would have put that on there somewhere. I celebrated a lot when that went in. I was like a lunatic when that went in.
I'm on the fence with this because it was United.
This
Well, for you guys,
I think
you
the
both live in Manchester.
I don't.
Unfortunately, yeah.
What's it like being a Liverpool fan living in Manchester?
So, you know, for example, when you go in towards Old Trafford, just as you start, you can see the stadium, you come past where the big Tesco is, just near where the big Tesco is, my high school was there. So I could throw a stone and probably hit Old Trafford. Hated it. I despise United like you wouldn't believe. So I've just got this pure, deep hatred for anything United. So the reason why I put that so high up is purely because it was against them.
Yeah.
And it was the time, like I said, is when you heard we're going to win the league, it was conviction.
Yeah.
And it was rocking at that point. And it's not just like, it's like, I remember like when Virgil scored, you see like the mad sunset above the Kop. It's like, that was historic to me. So
Everything about it's perfect. It's just that thing. It's Ali kicking the ball. He falls over while he's doing it, obviously, because that's how he gets assists. He sends Salah up against Dan James,
Yeah.
is
Dan
it, and
James.
holds him off, slots
Megs
it,
the
and then
tire.
runs away, and the top is just off. It's like
that's
effortless.
the-
It's like he teleports it off his body into his hand.
That's the
It's,
thing.
Yeah, John Cena's
I
it.
think him taking his top off in that game
yeah, good point.
is a much bigger celebration than that because I've never seen him really do that in a sense. Like towards the crop.
well, he had more
like
bookings for celebrating goals against Manchester United at Anfield than United have scored goals against
Exactly.
us at Anfield in that time. I think was the stat doing the rounds.
Great stuff.
The idea is, I think it's the collective goal celebration. So it's obviously not just Alisson celebrating Mo Salah's goal. It's Alisson sliding in.
You sure? Because it looks like it's just Alisson. On it.
But there wasn't a photo. The knee slide was a big part of it because the goalie sliding in made it more. Salah's taken his top off loads of times.
No one else is around them now. Everyone else is goofed. Everyone's like, yeah, Alison, you go. I can't be
The
arsed.
best mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do as much pressing as everyone else. I think that's the. I think it's at least on a par with the Suarez one, but it's a completely different angle. Suarez is up there because it's one of the most hilarious celebrations of all time.
Okay.
In terms of meaningfulness.
Yeah, I'm okay with 2.
Yeah.
I'm okay with 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have got up next. Ooh, there's some good ones left here. I'm gonna go with another Mo Salah.
Oh, it's got to be
Manchester City, Champions League quarter-final. Deadlock. It's been a half of stress. City battered us. And in the second half, Sadio Mane goes through, the ball deflects, Salah nips onto it, dinks it over Otamendi and the keeper, and then runs and just stands in front of the away end, cold as you like.
There's adoring fans.
And then these like blue smoke
Flares,
bombs come on, and he's just enveloped in this blue smoke, and it is just it's perfection.
Can there only be one?
Can only be one
right
number
winner?
one.
I mean, I'd put it top for now.
It's got to be top.
I know what's coming soon though, and I don't know where but that was just Messi has done things like that, and like, you know, you've got Ronaldo who's celebrated as if like, yeah, I'm the greatest in the world. That season, I've never seen a player have a season like that ever.
Yeah, it was phenomenal that year.
The composure. Bear in mind, we were underdogs. Yeah, we'd won 3-0 at Anfield, but City were the best in the Premier League, and you really were fearful that they'd go and win the Champions League earlier. They might do that this season, sadly. But to rock up, and bear in mind, we also were on the ropes that first 45. We got away with a couple of decisions.
It was Virgil, wasn't it?
But,
was
yeah.
it messes up? Is that the one?
There's a
Sterling.
handball as
goals.
well.
God, mate. That,
They had a handball.
I'm going to
like
do a
something comes
show
off
here now. I was
Milner.
at that game with Paul, like...
Behind the goal, yeah.
Not behind the goal,
See,
side
that's
on,
what-
I think
how-
it was, wasn't it? Yeah,
behind the goal.
Sort of diagonal. Yeah, why not, for the sake of the story.
We're in the stand there.
It was the most stressed I've ever been that first 45 minutes watching a game of football. Honestly, like, it was heart in mouth all the time. They get that early goal. They had the tifo flying around before the game, which looked fucking cool, to be fair. Like, I know not everyone likes it because obviously it's manufactured and stuff, but it does look good, and it makes it a difficult atmosphere for you to go into. The crowd just went up another level, like I'd never seen at Man City before, and I'd been there, like, I don't know whether it was before or after, where they snot was like 5-1 or something like that as well. When Mane got sent off, but that was something else, and they believed that they were going to win it. So for them to then come in and be able to do that, and then does Bobby capitalise on the Otamendi one? Is that that game?
Yeah.
Oh, the let off, like, just palpable. Like, so for me, from my memory of being there, that's top.
But it's the goal. Like, obviously Mane goes through like the sandwich. Edison clips it, and then it's the touch past Edison, but then it's Otamendi's there. And it's a difficult angle, and the nerve to dink it, and then it was as cold as you like, that celebration. It's our European history. You look back, and that will be in some of the actual reels just because of that celebration. It's that iconic.
Yeah, and it's asserting dominance as well over a rival, and like showing why we're so good in Europe as well at the same time.
It's a king of the jungle moment, that, isn't it?
Yeah, literally.
Like standing on the top of Pride Rock.
Blue flares make it better.
Showing everything in front, everything that light touches belongs to Mohamed Salah and the Etihad. Yeah, I love that. Okay, I'm happy with that to be top for now. I'm going to throw a Steven Gerrard goal into the mix.
Camera.
Merseyside derby, 2001. Runs into the box, smashes it into the far corner. He's at Goodison Park, and then he just gives it the ear. He gives it the big tongue out.
Running down.
Runs away in front of all the Everton fans, all absolutely spitting venom at him. And this Scouse kid with his skinhead running riot at Goodison Park.
Have you got anyone flicking the V's in the background of the photo or anything?
Not in. I think there's someone ready to do the wanker sign behind him there.
Of course there was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. How old was he at this point then? He would be...
It's 2000, 2001, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's about 21, something like
I'm
that,
out
is he?
of this.
Probably not even, maybe around, but 20 maybe, yeah.
But for a kid growing up in Liverpool, supporting Liverpool against Everton at Goodison Park,
I think that puts it on a par with Fowler.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think the goal's more iconic than the celebration to me. I remember the goal a lot more than the celebration. I think the goal was amazing.
I think that's a good point, actually. I remember it, and I remember absolutely buzzing off it at the time, because
he takes a big touch out, doesn't he, and then he just smashes it. And
it's the way it just bends into the far corner as well.
And that was like, that turned out to be like a trademark Gerrard sort of goal, didn't it? And
hitting things ridiculously hard when the distance between his foot and the ball meant the physics says you're not meant to be able to hit it that hard. There's one against Man United was the exemplar of that, but yeah. I'm prepared to accept that the celebration isn't... You're right, the goal and the celebration together probably elevate it, but I'm not sure that in and of itself, it's more iconic than any of the others we've got.
I think it's on a.
I think it's the same as Fowler. I think either Alisson or
Did we win the game? Did we win the game?
That's a great question.
If only we had the internet.
If only Stro was behind the goal, you'd know all about it.
How you're a champion with this material is beyond me.
If you thought it was
This next one's
difficult
top.
up until now,
Oh God.
Jesus. Yeah, it is.
Robbie
Oh,
Fowler,
I mean, there's nothing more iconic than that.
Merseyside
There's
derby,
nothing more like
scores, and in the
Sniffs the
words
grass.
of Gerard Houllier, eats the grass because it was a joke about Rigobert's song. He doesn't. Evertonians called him a smackhead and said he was a druggie for like years of his career. He smacks his head and then pretends to sniff the goal line. I was at this game and my vivid memory of this is the old fella. I was in my dad's seat and the old fella next to me goes, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" He's sniffing the white line! Oh, Robbie Fowler. Yeah, amazing. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like talking about it because he thinks it's like a shameful part of his career in his memory.
No,
But
it's not all.
for Liverpool fans,
They made a T-shirt line. I remember buying a Robbie Fowler. It said, "God, that image in Foot Asylum," and I had that for years. That's how iconic that was. In Manchester, in the Trafford Centre, was where he was selling it.
Wow.
I walked in, seen it, I was like, I'm having that. And years I had that. That's how iconic that was.
There might not be a more iconic goal celebration, full stop.
There's nothing better than being known as like doing shithouse celebrations like that. You know, like shithousery gets you a long way in football. That's icon. That is iconic, and that's what we're talking about. I think it knocks Salah out straight away.
I disagree. I wasn't born. Like, I wasn't. I was probably born.
But you've
I
heard of
don't-
it.
Yeah, of course I have.
That's the point, isn't it?
But I've
That's
heard of
iconic.
most of them. Like, I've loads of like.
How did he score it?
I'm pretty sure this is the game
Anyone remember the goal?
when no,
Do you? That's the proof
That
in the
says it
pudding.
all.
yeah.
No one can remember the goal. Chloe will probably know it. No? But everyone remembers the celebration.
And that's what we're arguing here.
The celebration was just...
Doesn't get better than that.
It's a little bit. I'm too
sorry,
young,
he's getting booted.
so
Yeah, he's gone. Move.
What can one man
I'm not gonna
dominate
lie.
the top row? I know we said only one, but like it's just the same fella.
I'm not gonna. The next one,
Yeah.
I think's top. By the way,
That's great for you.
I've only got
so
one
you
left.
might.
Well done.
No, there's two.
He scores he scores a penalty. There you go. I didn't know that.
There you go.
Fine.
That's like none of us knew, but we all knew the celebration.
Yeah.
They made a T-shirt line of this, by the way.
Yeah, but there's t-shirt lines we made of this one as well. We made
No,
quite a bit of
but-
dough off that one.
But yeah, we've made a t-shirt of everything. The Robbie Fowler one is, you're right.
You could bring the Fowler one back and sell more T-shirts, I reckon.
Yeah,
Honestly,
That's
it
how-
said,
that's how
it said
iconic it
God,
is.
and then the picture.
and that was it.
That was it. That was enough.
Write that down.
Well, he's told me about that is that he would kind of regret because ultimately, I mean, we'd have been. It was like late 90s, so we were teenagers at that point, and that was one where we were doing that celebration in the park, and they talk about like role models and all that kind of stuff, but literally everyone who supported Liverpool and played footy with their mates scored and did that celebration in the weeks that followed.
Yeah, there was loads of kids running around Liverpool with grass in their teeth.
Yeah.
Loads of them.
Yeah, but like Steve McManaman's dragging him up, trying to get him to stop, and he goes back and does it again, and he does, and again he's doing like the smacking his head thing, you know, the whole time. We couldn't buy a win against Everton in the 90s, and that it was an horrendous time to be in this city because and you've never lived this at all, Chloe, where Everton could ever beat us at football, but they used to beat us all the time, and then I think that's the game when we finally beat them. And and then he does that, and it was a
What year was it exactly? Was it 96?
No, I think
Later?
I think it's like 98. I think maybe
96, 97.
Is that early? Christ. Yeah.
Because like it's mad that Everton have won a trophy since that celebration.
It's just all falling into place. This White should be number one.
It was 19. I think it was 1999.
1999, that late was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
Still wasn't born.
And they still haven't won a trophy.
No.
They had an extra 4 years as well.
Outstanding. Okay, one more.
Okay.
You've all been waiting for this one. It is Steven Gerrard kissing the camera at Old Trafford, 2008, 2009. Up until last season, the iconic Liverpool away win at Old Trafford. Grey kit.
This is when the argument starts now. This is when we...
Good luck.
It's number one.
I don't think it's
Honestly,
more iconic.
this is a head and heart. You know, like when your mum and dad argue and you don't know what side to pick? This is that moment. Because I adore Fowler. Like, love that celebration. Growing up in Manchester, that win. I was in high school, I was kissing everything on my, like the little doors panels, I was doing it just to wind United fans up. Like, that, I don't know what, I don't know.
The badge going into his mouth,
Yeah.
kissing it, and then kissing the camera. Yeah, no.
What
iconic.
angle is that? Can you see the referee on the other side? Have you seen that going round?
No, I don't remember. Nasty.
Paul
United
Turney?
fan.
Yeah, where you
Don't
can
know
see
whether
him
it's
in
real or not.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if it is, that is even more iconic.
I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I've no idea if it's real.
Oh, I think that was fake, that wasn't it? But can I make a point on this? He does it again in 2014.
Is that the one where he
Yeah.
pens?
I'm never forgiven for that. Hat-trick of penalties, you've got to do that.
Yeah. So the fact that it's not a unique thing, does that?
Honestly, I just think that's more iconic, full stop, to be honest with you. And you think, obviously, 1999 was a long time ago, and that everybody still knows that. And I think that will be in the same boat. I think everyone will still know that. I think Sky will still replay that, but then they can't replay that.
The
Like,
celebration isn't what like Gerrard's known for. If you did, if you did a brainstorm on Robbie Fowler, that would be one of the first things that come out about him is that celebration. Whereas with Gerrard, you wouldn't say Gerrard, great player, great right foot, long shots, kissing the camera at Old Trafford. Whereas Fowler, you'd say great left foot,
But
number 9.
the kissing
Sniff
the
the
kissing the
line.
camera at Old Trafford, it's not just United fans that try and throw it out there. I've seen Chelsea fans do it. I've seen City fans do it. Like, all they ever did was kiss the camera at Old Trafford. Like, that moment lives rent-free in a lot of people's heads.
I think the reason why that celebration is iconic is because of the game, though, and I think that Fowler's celebration is iconic because of it's the celebration. Do you know
I've
what
got
I
a
mean?
little test for this. So I've just typed Steven Gerrard into Google, and then the images, and we can scroll through, and I'll show you what is this iconic Steven Gerrard image if we bring the screen up.
Lifting the Champions League trophy.
Yeah, it's got to be.
There we go.
or
It's
in-
that one.
Yeah.
As mentioned. It's him holding the Champions League. There's him kissing the Champions League with
I had
Jamie
that
Carragher.
on
as a big
the
one.
wallpaper
Him as
on my
Villa
PC
manager is
for
on the
years.
second row.
Type Steven Gerrard in, and then you've got a bunch of, there's his life, there's his wife, there's him as a pundit and what have you. There's him celebrating as a manager, all kinds of stuff. If we go to Robbie Fowler, and this I admit this is not a particularly scientific test, but if we go to Robbie Fowler, you've got some of him just generally playing, you've got a little bit of him as a manager and a pundit, but there you go, third row down and fourth row down. There's the two different angles of that picture. And I agree. I think the brainstorm point is right. I think if you were to draw a mind map, almost of like describe what constitutes
Like
Robbie
word
Fowler.
association, that's what that's one of the first things that have come out.
If I was to ever score a goal, my celebration would be kissing the Liverpool badge because I'm a Scouser. It's my club. And to do it against Manchester United, who had been picking up every single trophy that was known to man. And we just rocked up there and absolutely took the mick. That's the same game as Fernando Torres with the 5. And I'd even put that up there. If I was to do it, if I was to play for Liverpool and score a goal, it'd be between Mo Salah's that, or it'd be kissing the badge. And that's why I'd have it up there.
Well, the fact you put 2 celebrations in the same game in this, but that one stands on its own. The Fowler one stands on its own. Whereas
What was the game like though? Was that a crap game? It's like
No one can remember.
What?
exactly.
This one.
That
But
was-
it could just,
It's
That was
more
the game.
iconic.
That was
but
the
it
game
could
when.
be a crap game as
No,
well.
that was the game where we hadn't beaten Everton in like 5 years in a derby, and we finally beat them. That at the time, that was the biggest game of football I'd ever watched in my life, and Robbie Fowler was the biggest footballer in that team. And he'd gone on, like, I don't know if this is before or after he'd gone and done the ITV interview all about like drugs and all that. You know, there was the rumours of doing the rounds of Robbie Fowler. He was meant to be a cokehead and all this kind of stuff, and he denied. And he thought, and in his head, he thought the best thing to do about it is just to give it back. For me, it's got all the shithousery of Luis Suarez's dive celebration. It's got the big moment because it's a huge moment in a Merseyside derby, and he's an iconic player. In addition to that, he's there. He's in the 9 shirt. He was the absolute everyone's favourite footballer at the time.
Also, I think back then, I know United were dominating the Premier League, but that Everton rivalry then still mattered more than the United rivalry.
Yeah.
And when you look at, and I know we've mentioned it, but like the fact that McManaman's trying to drag him and he goes back down and does it again, and then he's going.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Right. I can't... The thing is that...
We need to put this one to a vote, I think.
The vote's already done. It's Robbie Fowler. I just don't... I wasn't born, so I therefore can't say it because I wasn't there to witness it at the moment. You can still vote for Stevie. That's absolutely fine. Yeah.
What we doing? Are we moving Robbie down to 3? Do you have to have 3?
Like,
I'd get rid of the Suarez 1 and 2.
Suarez 1 and 2? Really?
Oh, no.
No, shithousery, mate. That's what we're all about here.
I'd get rid of...
I'd say get rid of Mo, but like Chloe will fucking beat me up.
Yeah,
Can I just tell you what a joke?
Can we do that?
To refresh people's memories on the Fowler one, just to give it some more. I'd forgotten this. Olivier Dacour gave them a 1-0 lead in the first minute of that game, and I remember thinking, here we go again.
Was that the one where he hit it from about 25, 30 yards? Oh, I fucking hated him.
Yeah, Fowler scored a penalty. Fowler scored the penalty, which was that. Then he scored again, and then Patrick Berger scored in the 82nd minute. Franny Jeffers got one back toward the end, but we won that 3-2. And I phoned up every one of my Evertonian mates on their landlines and laughed down the phone at them because it was what we did in the 90s for fun.
Yeah, can we do that with 2?
Yeah, we can do that with 2.
So, what have we done?
We've just got 4.
We've got 4 of them in 2.
Okay. And go on, do you want to go bottom to top then, Chris?
Yeah. Daniel Sturridge and Alberto Moreno doing the Sturridge dance. We've got Salah in 4 doing the peace sign. We've got Bobby Firmino went to PSG, covering his eye. Alisson for his assist against Manchester United. Stevie G cupping his ear and running down with his tongue out against Everton. We've got Fowler doing the Dockers. Gerrard controversially kissing the camera at United. We've got Salah at Manchester City, Suarez in front of David Moyes and Robbie Fowler. What's interesting now as a group of these is a lot of Everton and Manchester United in here, and the Everton and Manchester United ones tend to do pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. How does everyone feel about that one? Is there any we've missed out? Any iconic Liverpool celebrations that should have been on that list?
Anything with Bobby Firmino doing a kung fu kick.
I've got one.
Yeah.
John Arne Riise against United.
Oh, the golf.
No,
sorry.
Top
the
over
top,
his
just
The top hat over and slide.
And the slide in front of the fans.
Yeah, that's a good
what
one.
A guy.
Actually.
Was the Golf Club won Champions League?
Yeah, that would have done.
Yeah, that was a great one, that.
Good shout. If anyone's got any more, let us know in the comments underneath if you agree with the list. We can do a poll, mate. Yeah, do. There is. Oh, go ahead. What was the result of the poll? Right now. Gerrard, it's only been 35 votes. It is Gerrard 51, Fowler 49%. The public disagree with the final selection, but it is the final selection.
It is the final selection, and we know that our demographic is Chloe's age, pretty much.
It's 50-50 now.
Oh, come on, Robbie.
I'm not. Gerrard's back to 50. Oh my God, right. It's heart stopping. Fowler 52%, 53%, 51%. Oh my God, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop.
End the poll.
50-50. Christ, Gerrard's winning. Oh my God. Right. Brilliant. That's the tightest any of these have been so far. Do check back on more of our ranked videos over on Redmen 2, our second YouTube channel. Just type in Redmen 2, search for it and subscribe to that channel. That is much appreciated. Right, we are going to take our final break, and when we return, we're going to be looking ahead to Liverpool versus Leicester.
Hey everyone, what's happening? We've got an incredible prize to give away this month. It is a signed picture and frame of Liverpool's 3-time European Cup winning former captain, the man, the legend, Phil Thompson. Yes, if you join up as a Club Legend subscriber on redmenplus.com, or if you're an existing Club Captain subscriber and wish to upgrade, your name will go in the hat at the end of the month to win that incredible signed prize. Bang it on your mantelpiece, stick it on the wall of your man cave or woman cave, and add to your incredible Liverpool collection with this wonderful piece of LFC memorabilia. I was quite enjoying our pre-filming chat around various messes that we've been in over the years, and I got me thinking, like, what is the most you've ever woken up in the morning and gone, oh
I don't believe I've shared this one on camera, and if I have, I'm an idiot. And then I was like, that's the most disgusting thing
were you like,
ever heard.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back. Smooth. Welcome back to the show. It is Thursday Night Pints. We're going to be previewing next Leicester versus Liverpool Monday Night Football. I am still joined by Chloe Bloxham, by Chris Pajak. We've got BloodStro and we've got Bizzo Bond as well in the studio. But we had a super chat about you boys. The Ram stand says, big up my boys, Stro and Bizzo on Redmen, Zabby W. And then this, I don't know what most of that means, but
Who was that?
it's clearly love.
Who was that? I have no idea.
Whoever he is.
Zabby W.
Big ups, bro.
Yeah, big up.
Yeah, that's right. Right, let's preview the game then, shall we? Chloe, Leicester. Not Leicester. Liverpool. Not Leicester. Don't not win against Leicester.
Yeah. If I've learned anything this season, it's to really not get my hopes up, because I just do not know what's coming. Liverpool have got a run starting, but if, you know, things from this season haunt us, and hopefully that's not the case, then Liverpool can struggle against Leicester. But they're in a dire situation. We need 3 points. And you know what? The sets of fans do my head in. So if they went down, I really wouldn't be that bothered. Take Jamie Vardy with you. So yeah, it's one of them.
And his wife.
Yeah, and his wife. We need to be careful. We need to be fully focused, because they'll want a reaction, because they got battered by Fulham. And their fans booed them. Their fans started, you know, the whole Everton thing, saying you're not fit to wear the shirt. So I'm assuming there's going to be some reaction. Liverpool just need to be as hungrier, because we're going for a potential top 4.
I really thought they would have dragged themselves out of it by now, Chris. You know, they brought Vardy back in, and obviously he's old and done, really, isn't he? But he's bagged a couple of goals. They've got like half
Scores against us as well. He
He
always
does
does.
every single time. Harvey Barnes is in good form. You know, they've still got Madison. They have got good players there. I'm amazed at how they didn't beat Everton. But when I watched that game, that was meant to be the relegation decider, and all it showed was why both of those teams are scrapping for relegation.
Yeah, it's tough, and as Chloe says, Liverpool have to be careful, don't they? I mean, Monday night game, it's at Leicester. I'm with you, Chloe. I hate their fans, the clackers they've got, and fucking all that shit that they have to bring to the party. They put a drum in right next to the away end, and they bang the drum as well, so you can't keep a tune in the away end. It's just not a nice place to go to. Leicester generally, and then the football club. So I despise it, to be honest with you. I've been that way quite a few times, and I hate it every single time I've gone. There's no parking anywhere near the ground. They're just shit, really, aren't they? And like the all of that. So they just. It needs to be none of our business, and at this point, you know, we could get into the whole. Well, Everton did us a favour against Brighton. We could do Everton a favour against Leicester. Whatever. Like if that's a knock-on effect, who gives a shit? Ultimately, Liverpool just need to win this football match. The relegation fight is nothing to do with us. Let's make sure that it stays nothing to do with us.
I mean, It's going to be tough because for whatever reason Leicester are on Monday Night Football for the 15th time this season.
Genuinely.
And it's like, it's this won't. If we win, this won't be the game that relegates them, but it's practically nailing the coffin. So they're going to come out backs against the wall. They're just going to come out swinging. They have to get a result. We need to be street smart in this game specifically, and we just need to make sure that early on we give them no chances, and then we just let our quality shine through. Trent's in unbelievable form, and we just need to put the game to bed as quickly as possible. But it's like Chloe said, I've just not got my hopes up much this season, and I'm just hoping that not getting my hopes up again will carry us through to a victory.
Chloe mentioned it before, Biz, the fact that we play last, so we don't have that opportunity like last weekend to get the points on the board and have them stew on it. But there is actually, it can kind of work both ways. If they get the points on the board, then fine. But there is something to, no matter what happens, everyone involved in that, the Newcastle players, the United players, and the Brighton players, are probably going to be watching that game on Monday night. And we've done this to City for years. That's when we just need to go and put a performance in, and you can add the stress no matter what else they've done.
You seen Callum Wilson come out in an interview, and I was reading it before, and he was saying that I thought Liverpool were done, and I could smell Champions League football. Liverpool need to relax. The smell of Champions League's gone now, and I'm nervous, is what he said. So if he's coming out and openly saying that, it's going to be. We did this a couple of seasons ago where we were well out of it. Alisson's header, and then we beat United at Old Trafford, and then somehow we scraped top four. Did it final game of the season when I think Middlesbrough 4-0, Wijnaldum scores that screamer, and we scraped top four then. And I don't want to get my hopes up. I just feel like if there's any team that would scrape top four from the position that we're in, it would be us. And I just feel like if there is a team that might slip up, I do think it would be Newcastle.
I think both of them are vulnerable. I think United are equally as vulnerable as Newcastle at the moment. I think it does benefit us to an extent playing last, because teams know what we're capable of, and if we do win, we're still just right on the heels. And it also should provide that extra motivation for us to ensure a win as well. Because if the results went our way on Saturday and we were to draw or lose the game, then there's all those different variables. I think we just need to obviously focus on beating them.
I think there's that thing. We've been in that situation before, haven't we? And I would bank on our team, hopefully. And look, hopefully it's not the team that played the first 3 quarters of the season. It's the team that's finishing it, or the team that's played countless years of brilliance before it. But being able to play in that environment, I would trust us playing last to go and get the win more than I would maybe trust the United team or the Newcastle team.
I'm not impressed with Leicester at all at the moment either. I think they're playing horrible football. So I'd like to be confident that we get a result against them for sure. We tend to do well away from home against them as well.
Well, we've had it. You say that, but we went there for the Charity Shield already this season. We're going to picked up the big 50p, the big plate up at the start of the season. Won some silverware this year already, lads. Don't forget that.
Stroll's behind the goal.
Yeah. So we know.
Honestly, your material is terrible.
So look, we have been there and won already this season. And to the point, we actually have. We've had a pretty good record against Leicester by and large in recent years.
We didn't score against them at Anfield earlier on in the season. Wout Faes had to come up and score 2 for us. If there's anything, the thing that worries me is Liverpool conceded 2 to Nottingham Forest. We conceded 3 to Spurs. We've had games where we've had to outscore teams, and Leicester still have goals in their side. They still have ways to exploit us, running off the shoulder in behind. And the other thing is, I know you mentioned, playing last might actually help us, but if someone drops points, there's even more pressure on you because you've got to capitalise. You might as well play first when you're all on the same level. Where if they drop points or if you can just mentally switch off.
But you don't get to pick what order the fixtures.
Yeah, you don't. You've still got to win.
I
get it, but it is a case of.
Stop being such a shithouse, Chloe.
I'm not saying we won't win a game.
Liverpool are miles better than Leicester.
Yeah,
Leicester
literally.
are fucking shit.
But I thought we were miles better than a lot of teams this season.
No, it's true. But since we've started playing well, no one's beaten us.
Yeah, like you said, we're outscoring teams. We are conceding a number of goals, but we're outscoring teams. The goals are back, which is what we were missing. We were desperate for goals at the first half of the season. Got big key players coming back into the team. Yeah.
Can I say
Bit
something
more
that's going to
respite as
make?
well.
Yeah. Can I say something that's going to make Chloe feel worse about this?
Oh, God.
Who's in charge for them?
Dean Smith.
Yeah. Twice beaten a Liverpool side by 5 goals. Can you name the games?
Aston Villa.
Norwich.
Aston Villa. They're both Aston Villa. He definitely didn't beat us for Norwich, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'd stick up 5 against them.
Aston Villa 7.
Oh, wait,
Liverpool 2.
Was that
was the other one when we were in Qatar?
The other one was the...
Oh,
you were at that game, Chris. It was the League Cup 5th round where Dean Smith's Aston Villa side beat up our children.
With you. I went with you. Oh, right, okay, sounds
Beat up our children.
He beat up our kids. Absolutely shocking display of child
I
abuse at Villa Park.
had a good time at that game apart from the loss. Like, the atmosphere was quite good.
Sure.
Yeah, then I remembered that like Ross and Tom were in
Wasn't
Qatar and
Critchley
we were in Birmingham.
Was Neil
Yeah,
Critchley in
Critchley,
charge?
Yeah, Neil Critchley was in charge for that one. Harvey Elliott's Tricky Reds. He was 16 and basically acting like Gerrard, like G in the crowd up and stuff. It was brilliant.
At a corner.
I reckon we can win, and you know I'm really actually excited to watch Liverpool kick a football about.
Yeah.
The only thing is that we've been here before. The seasons where we've lost out on a point here and there, we've had too many draws. We've not capitalised when Manchester City dropped points on the weekend. I know it's not the same type of pressure. These were near 100-point wins, but I look at Manchester United fixtures and I think dead game. Newcastle's the one where I think, wow, they've got 3 really tough games there.
Come into our favour a little bit. Yeah, we have to obviously play behind the other teams this time around, but like when you've got your Chelsea Man United game midweek and stuff like that, obviously it swings and roundabouts.
Brighton, Newcastle as well.
So for me, if I was going to pick one team to play late against, I would probably pick Leicester.
Yeah, I'd say just in terms of those fixtures that we mentioned. I mean, the Villa and Tottenham. Do we care about Villa Tottenham in this anymore? Is that are we concerned about that? Is that all done and dusted at this point? Probably. Leeds Newcastle Arsenal kick-off is one. You know, if
That's a big game. That.
Yeah.
That's
one that I'd watch. I'm watching with intrigue, definitely.
Because it's Big Sam, because it's Ellen Road, and Ellen Road can be hostile, especially when they're fighting for the survival in the Premier League. That's a tough game for Newcastle. That
I feel like that's the sort of game that's Sam Allardyce would get you G'd up for.
That's a Sam Allardyce game in context. That's what he's made for, is those kind of games.
Leeds have been getting absolutely battered at him and away. But the fact... sorry about that, Leeds. But Sam's first game was Manchester City. You're not expected to win that anyway. You're not expected to win Newcastle, but you're at home. I know, yeah, it's true. Sorry about that. Head-to-head with Pep Guardiola there. This is a game that, on paper, they probably shouldn't win, but they need to get something out of it. It's not a case of, it's Newcastle, look at where they are. They're running out of games. And that being Sam Allardyce's first home game, hopefully they can do something for us. And for themselves.
Wolves are playing Man United at 3 o'clock, and for what it's worth, they're in as good a run of form, a recent form, as Manchester United. In fact, they've won more games in the last 5 than United have. United have only won 2, drawn 1, and lost 2 in the last 5. Wolves...
I think the Bournemouth games are for United.
Bournemouth away.
They just lost to Chelsea.
Yeah. Someone had to beat them eventually.
They're still in there, though, aren't they? Still down there.
No, they're not.
Aren't they? They're safe now.
They're
not mathematically.
Okay, so
Are Wolves at home or away?
It's at Old Trafford. Right, look, let's tell you what, let's not focus too much on these. I think you're right. I think the Leeds Newcastle one is the one that draws the eye. It's 12:30 kick-off. It's Sam Allardyce. It's at Ellen Road, all that kind of stuff. The Wolves one is the one that I think I will not be paying attention to because we'll be occupied.
Yeah, that's the one where something might happen.
And then. You just check the fixtures, and Wolves are winning 1-0
Is there any
with
good
5 minutes
3
to
p.m.
go.
kickoffs aside from that I will legally watch somewhere?
In terms of the other 3 p.m s, Southampton Fulham, no. Chelsea Forest could have a deciding tell on the relegation battle.
I mean, if the season went on a couple more months, that'd be a relegation battle.
Villa Tottenham, in terms of scrapping out for the remaining European places, is definitely an interesting one. Villa at home. United Wolves, Palace Bournemouth. And on Sunday, Everton City. Dear God, Everton has so much trouble. Brentford, West Ham.
I think Everton might have enough points right now to stay up.
Genuinely.
That's how bad everybody else is.
Arsenal, Brighton, well in bed. Right, sad. Okay, let's talk about Liverpool then. They had a little break. Chris, the players went to Barcelona for a few days. Well, it was an interesting move from the manager, to be honest. They've had this quite intense sort of schedule. I wonder whether it's a team.
It's just taking the pressure off. It's taking the eyes of everybody off them, isn't it? And making sure that they're comfortable in themselves. I'm not sure it's a great plan, because whenever we've gone to do these like mad mid-season trips away, I know they're more training trips, those ones and stuff. And
this looked like a sit by a pool and suntan.
It did, but like also like they're not that good at the new system, are they? You know, like, there's definitely work to
Maybe doing it in the pool.
Yeah, like Senko, yeah, whatever. But so I think it's really strange. So I'm interested to see what happens here, because I can see this one going both ways, to be honest with you. Because you lose against Leicester, and it's because you've taken your players away.
Yeah, it'll all come back and haunt you, That'll definitely come back and haunt you.
Yeah. In terms of the team then, Biz, what do you reckon? Gakpo played midfield last time. Would you be doing that again, or would you put him back?
No, I think we'd play a bit safer, I think. I think you might drop Núñez again, play what we've been playing recently. Gakpo, number 9. Diaz, Salah. Yeah, I think that's what you'll go with. Because like you said, like they're quick on the counter-attack, and I think teams will start putting a lot of pressure down their left side or right side with Trent's new position, and players like Harvey Barnes are quite dangerous in positions like that, so I think it would be silly to go over there and be too attacking. I think you've got to be very mindful of their players.
It feels like Darwin's had this go, and it's a big call from the manager if he does stick him in again, to be fair, and it would be very Jurgen Klopp for us to be sitting here going, no, come on, he's had a couple of goes now, it hasn't quite worked out for him. It would be very Jurgen to go, no, go on, I back you, go out there and do it again. But it does mean Henderson should be fully fit for this one. You got the impression that him not being available and Thiago being out injured was one of the reasons why he did that at the weekend. So it is an interesting call, whether he chooses to go with that or not.
Yeah, I think Henderson definitely comes in, just for his leadership and just for the magnitude of the game and the running. We need the points. And the thing with Núñez is, look, has he hit the ground running? No. Has he shown some potential? 100%. Like, you look at his first season in Benfica to his first season with us, it's practically symmetrical. It's so similar, it's untrue. He doesn't understand English properly yet. I think now is the time to take him out the firing line. Gakpo's been phenomenal since he's come in. He's really took to that Bobby role, and I just think that front three is a lot more fluid than the front three he's tried in the past couple of weeks. The good thing about Gakpo is you can put him anywhere and he does a job. He's just that good. But Núñez needs to come out the firing line for me.
Núñez looks too raw, whereas Gakpo looks more of an established starter.
He's polished.
Yeah, like his first few games, Gakpo, everyone was like, in and ahhing, is he going to be a good signing? But he's fit that role superbly that he's been put in, and it's not his natural role. Whereas Núñez just looks raw. He looks like tenacious, and
it's perfect to come off the bench. Captain Chaos, just throw him on for the last 10 minutes.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. The Diaz and Jota's the other big question, isn't it, Chloe? And I mean, that's one of the reasons why you can afford to take Núñez off the firing line, is because no matter what, you're going to have one of Jota or Diaz to come on regardless. We've got 4 lads in good form for 3 places. Núñez, if you could get him up and running, which I think we've tried, you're laughing. You're beyond laughing. But I wonder whether it's a problem that they can afford to park now almost until the summer. Not to say he's bombed out, not to say he doesn't come off the bench in games, but we're at the point now where I think the lads are right. You go back. Gakpo feels like the one. Him and Salah now feel nailed on, and then you're making a call between Jota and Diaz who starts.
Everyone plays their part this season, and I think Klopp can look at Núñez and say, look, everyone thinks you're a flop, but you've got this amount of goals, you've influenced the game, you're just settling in, it's your first season. There's a lot of factors around Núñez and why he's not hit the ground running. He's also being bought at the same time that Erling Haaland's being bought into the Premier League, into the other top team in the Prem. So there's a load of factors where you can just say, I'm going to give you 15, 20 minutes here. Luis Diaz is still coming back from injury. I'll probably give Gakpo a rest 70 minutes in. He likes doing that. And you bring Núñez either on the left or up top, Jota on the left or up top. You've got the option to do that. So yeah, I'd take Núñez off, because if I'm being honest, he doesn't influence a game. And West Ham away Cody Gakpo was the star of the show. He held the ball up like Firmino. He really did. He took the sting out of the atmosphere. Although, I mean, it wasn't a great atmosphere by the West Ham fans anyway. But who do I want starting up top and holding the ball up against Leicester when they're in a relegation battle, which West Ham were at the time? Cody Gakpo, Darwin Núñez. He hasn't learned how to press as well in the system, and the way we counter press is what ultimately gets you in the starting 11 at this moment. I also bring Diaz back. He got a break the other day. Jota started, swapped them round again, and you keep telling the lads, look, be heroes, because this season has been absolutely woeful. But if we get top 4, my God, I will feel just as excited as I did last year going into next season, because I'll think new signings, look at the front 4, front 5, we're in top 4, we're in Champions League. You feel like you have gone and won something because it seems so far away. So if you just say to those lads that they've all got a part in the next 3 games, you'll all be used, but we need to win. We need to be straight at it from the off. I think they'll all understand.
Yeah, I think for me, I actually like Gakpo in the middle of the park as well. I agree. I think Gakpo's much better in the 9, as everybody said. I expect him to go back to Gakpo in the 9, but it wouldn't shock me if Jota started up front and Gakpo played in the mid still. And Núñez was taking out the firing line that way.
Yeah, I think that's what he's aiming for next season, mate. I think he's going to try and utilise 4 up front and play Gakpo more as a centre attacking midfielder.
That's it. It's felt like we'll do the Trent thing first, phase 1, phase 2. How do all these pieces I've got fit together? And he's looking at it all on the board, shuffling them around, going, right, okay, we'll give you a little round like that. Okay, that works. Okay.
He's already said, hasn't he, that he's changed all his training methods, and he was planning on doing it next season, but he said we might as well do it now because we're winning games again, so we might as well keep going with it.
One thing which was massively notable was Gakpo's work rate. Was when Trent was moving to the midfield, was obviously you've got that whole the right side exposed, Brentford's left hand side in, and Bueno kept going in there, but Gakpo was tracking him constantly. So it's the only reason why I suggested Henderson was because I think he's fit now, and I think he just naturally slipped.
There's also is that Leicester fighting for their lives, and they'll do what we've got a bit of muscle memory from this of teams who will just focus on set pieces, and actually whether it's Henderson or Gakpo, you've got another big lad, and that actually might work to be a positive for the Núñez thing.
It's why I thought Núñez was important against Brentford, to be honest with you, because he is that little bit taller and stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, and maybe that'll be part of his thinking about keeping Gakpo in the midfield, and then you keep Núñez and you got Henderson then in reserve. You've got a ton of taller options in there.
The thing is the thing with Gakpo. And, I'm saying this after, he probably should have slotted 2 against Brentford. But if there's someone I want in and around the area to knit everything together, it's Cody Gakpo. He was brilliant on the right-hand side of midfield, but he faded in and out because of how much work he had to do getting back for Trent and covering, because that's the system we play now. And to have that good of an attacker who knits everything together up top and creates the spaces for everyone else, to have him also having to track back where he can't express himself as much, I'd rather go back to the other way. But if I'd love to see
Jota on the ball in the penalty area personally than Gakpo.
I think it's no coincidence that when Firmino was in the form of his life in 2018, 2019, with Mane and Salah around him playing that role, when we lost that either through decline or injury, we played significantly worse, and now we're playing significantly better because we've got a player in that role who's actually able to do it to a level that Firmino was doing it, in my opinion. And I think in a season or two, I think Gakpo will excel even better. And if he's missing, I think he's missing a couple more goals. Probably that's my only real criticism.
Gakpo's helped Núñez significantly. Him coming in and going into that
he's helped
role
everyone.
He's
helped Salah.
No, but I mean specifically, he's took Núñez out of the firing line in terms of Liverpool fans. Because if we'd have had Núñez for that run of games and he was as inconsistent as he's been, there'd be a lot more questions going into pre-season. Yeah. And I think Gakpo's helped massively.
I think there's a really interesting sort of the interesting conundrum he's got with those forward lads is, I think, if you want to play a false 9, then you need both you guys to be flyers either side. And Jota's not, but he does functionally do what Mane would do in terms of getting in the right positions to score the goals. Diaz is the flyer, but he's not a goal scorer. I don't think he's as much of a goal scorer.
He's not dynamic. And
Exactly. So I think in theory he suits Gakpo better because he's got the pace to get in there, but I don't think that's necessarily totally naturally his game. I think he wants to be a provider. So I think he weirdly suits Darwin up front potentially more because he wants to be giving Darwin Núñez the ball, whereas Jota wants to be the guy, wants to be given the ball, wants to be the main man, wants to stick in the back of the net. So it's a slight odd fit. I don't think there's anything that's quite... I don't think we can truly... We haven't replaced.
I don't think we'll know
Mane,
until
Salah,
next season.
For me,
I think that's it. Ultimately, it when the other pieces of the puzzle are brought in on, when the transfer window opens and stuff. Right now, I really do just believe he's looking at all of his options because he knows Gakpo's boss in the night. Everyone is. As soon as he came in through the door, everyone was probably thinking he's going to play on that left hand side. But really, Diaz, when he comes back, is he really going to play? So as soon as he put him in that 9, everyone was like, "Man, he's got absolutely everything." It looks like Firmino 2.0, exactly like you were saying then.
Klopp must have a plan in place because when all those signings, if you put them all on paper, when we actually sign them, I thought we've got so many left-sided forwards here. Like we've got too many. Like who are we going to sell? What's he going to do? Because Núñez played as a wide player for Benfica and scored a lot of goals there. Diaz obviously for Porto, Jota for Wolves was playing on the left and the right hand side. So I was like, where do these all fit in? But he is actually making it work.
Gakpo's so clever though, isn't he? You can tell just watching him. He just understands football.
It's a shrewd bit of business,
that's exactly why I'd rather Jota in the box for a chance. I don't think anyone could score the goal he scored against Tottenham in the final minute. I think that's Jota written all over it. But in terms of knitting play together, I don't think there's anyone like Gakpo. Jota's good at it. He can play with his back to goal, but it's
what you're getting out of the midfield. And I think my sort of point here is I love Gakpo in the 9. I think he's been brilliant. In fact, I was saying it before he came in. I think he might play in the 9. Did deep dive shows on it and stuff. Totally understand what he brings to it, Chloe. But like, what are you getting out of the midfield? My thing is, I don't think Jordan Henderson's very good at that role. And I think Gakpo's got the potential to be better. So is the difference between Gakpo and Henderson...
higher up in the 8.
Yeah. Is the difference between Gakpo and Henderson... Because I agree. I'd rather have Gakpo and Nick play together, but is the difference minimal between them two? And is the difference a little bit bigger between
in terms
Hendo
of
and
midfielder, between the lines, picking the ball up from Trent, and then he's just got, like you said, because he's such an intelligent footballer and he can knit so much together, is you put him on the right-hand side, yes, he's a bit wasted because of the work rate he's got to do back for Trent, but just on the half turn, receiving the ball, you trust Gakpo more than anyone in the team, barring Trent, to slip a ball down the side for Salah, for Jota in that position. This is what I mean, you can put him anywhere. He's just been that good. And that's another reason why you look at our transfer business for the past couple of years and you go, that's why Liverpool have been where they are, because of business like that.
I agree with all this. I just don't think we're seeing the full picture
We're not.
yet.
That's the whole point, isn't
I
it?
can't wait till we get midfielders in and then you get to see what he does with that.
Every game we see, we're finding, we're asking questions and
yet
finding new
the thing
answers.
is, in all of these sorts of computations everyone's doing, I ain't got a place for Núñez.
No, that's the problem.
I think he must do. That's what I think. I think he's got to have in his head. He's got a front four with, like you said, Gakpo playing in centre attacking mid, and then he'll have a rotational front three of Núñez.
It's horses for courses. I think because I agree at the moment, and I said this the other week. He's a bit like in the Origi role at the moment, where he's not a natural fit, but if you put him in, he will score. He'll score. He's a goal scorer. He will score eventually for you. But I do wonder whether there are games where you want a more Henderson-like person in that 8, because they're games where you're playing a good side and you want someone who's a bit more game intelligent going back the other way. And you're gonna look to fight for it a bit more. Whereas games, and hopefully most of the games you're gonna play are gonna be against a bunch of teams who are just defending for their lives. And that's ones where you're gonna have 65% possession plus. You might as well have Cody Gakpo in the 8.
Or Harvey Elliott or someone like that.
Exactly. Okay, let's have some score predictions from you guys then. Away at, what's it called? The King Power Stadium. Filbert Street is what I was going to say. Do you remember Filbert Street?
I nearly said the Walkers.
Yeah, the Walkers. Bizzo, what do you think?
Chloe's going to hate me here. 3-1, I reckon.
I literally was thinking that.
All right, that's all right then.
So now she hates it because she wanted to say it.
That's all right, I'll change it.
I was thinking 3-1, but do you know what's a mad stat? Have you seen... So we've been defensively terrible this season. Alisson's on 13 clean sheets, 2 behind De Gea. Do you know how mad that is when I seen that today? I think it's 2-0. I think we'll keep a clean sheet.
I was going to say 2-0. Yeah, I'm with 2-0 as well.
I think we'll come out the gates flying personally. I think we'll try and get a goal in the first 4 or 5 minutes and then, yeah.
wouldn't put a bet against another 1-0 here, where we just get the goal and just go, thanks. Nice sound. But I would
Nunes
prefer,
off the bench.
Yeah, but I would infinitely prefer it too. I'm here for just some games of football. Let's have some routines. That being said, there is something to it. I think game state will depend on what happens in the other fixtures in the weekend, because you might just find we want to go and let the handbrake off. They've had a week off. They've recharged the batteries. They can go again. You know, we've been running on fumes, I think, the last week or so, just trying to get through that little run of games. And now it's like there's 3 games left. There's 2 weeks of football, laughing. Let's just go and put a show on, and everyone's going to be watching Monday Night Football, Liverpool.
Especially if Leeds get a result against Newcastle.
We can go and batter them. Then all of a sudden, we're the story. Liverpool are the team on the up, and everyone's quaking in the boots. I'll live for that. 5-0 Liverpool. Quality. There you go. Match previewed. That was Thursday Night Pint. Thank you so much, gents. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
And Chris, we're going to have the lads with us for Redmen Uncensored. All right.
I was just looking at the camera away. Brilliant.
Sensational stuff. Yeah, we're going to have the lads with us for Redmen Uncensored, so do head over to Redmen Plus. We're going to be live in about 15 minutes after the end
What's
of
the
this.
code you can use, Paul?
If you want to get an incredible offer, head to redmenplus.com, click join today, choose a Club Captain yearly subscription and use the code YEAR, Y-E-A-R, and get 50% off a yearly subscription. That makes it...
Y-E-A?
What?
That's how you spell it.
No.
YEAR. Instead of being £50, it makes it £25. A full year of Redmen TV Plus
You lost your marbles,
for £25. You're going to get the Bobby Firmino documentary this summer as part of that. We've got loads of amazing stuff. The full series of Redmen Uncensored. I mean, we went from a Labour MP last week to champion battle rappers this week. That's how amazing Redmen Uncensored is. Doesn't get more wild. So yeah, tune in for that full series, and we hope to see you over there. Thank you so much for watching Pint this week. You're the best, and the Reds are on the way back too. See ya.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed that show. Do you want to get your hands on some amazing Liverpool merchandise? Well, if you become a Redmen Plus Club legend on a yearly subscription, we'll instantly send you 2 merch codes to get you 2 pieces of merchandise from redmenmerch.com. T-shirts are amazing. Go and get yourselves one. Simply become a Redmen Plus Club legend on a yearly subscription, and that code will be in your inbox very, very shortly.